The next 2 weeks at General Hospital, from June 15th to 26th, will be filled with intrigue, kidnappings, and dangerous situations threatening many residents of Port Charles. Welcome back to our channel, everyone. I hope you are all having a beautiful day today. Something about Jens and his Grandmaster plan falling apart is screaming at me right now. I can't help but feel like we are missing a massive piece of the puzzle regarding his trap. He honestly thought he had Sonny, Laura, and Lucas exactly where he wanted them. He thought he was the ultimate puppet master pulling all the strings, but it seems that his entire web is starting to unravel right in front of him. What if Jens actually underestimated the very people he was trying to destroy? I keep coming back to this idea that his ego has completely blinded him. He set this elaborate trap, expecting them to just walk right into it like lambs to the slaughter. There is a chance that his own arrogance is going to be his ultimate downfall. Lucas is incredibly smart, and Laura has survived monsters far worse than Jens. Maybe I'm overthinking this, but I feel like they are already piecing the clues together. They are quietly mapping out his blind spots and turning the tables. Jens is no longer the hunter, sitting patiently in the dark. He is quickly becoming the prey, and he doesn't even realize it yet. I keep coming back to this idea that Sonny is playing a completely different game than the rest of the town. We all know he is quietly preparing his own counterattack behind closed doors. Maybe I'm overthinking this, but his silent moves feel incredibly calculated right now. He is not lashing out or making noise, which makes him terrifying. And then there is Rick, who is suddenly caught in this highly cryptic exchange that has my mind racing. There's a chance that whatever Rick is negotiating could expose the entire underground network. I mean, what if Sonny is actually using Rick as the perfect bait? It makes me wonder if they have a secret alliance that nobody knows about. If Rick drops the right breadcrumbs, the whole syndicate could come crashing down. Something about this doesn't sit right with me, though. Rick always has his own agenda, and he rarely does anything purely out of loyalty. I can't help but feel like this exchange is going to backfire on one of them. What if Rick decides to flip the script and take control of the network himself? Now, let us talk about Carly sneaking around Windermere in the dead of night. I have to admit, my heart was completely in my throat watching her push so deep into enemy territory. It looked like she was about to be completely cornered by the guards. We all expected her to get caught and thrown right into a cell next to Liesel. But something about this doesn't sit right with me at all. What if Carly wasn't walking into a trap, but rather stumbling into a gold mine? She stumbles upon a truth so massive that it completely changes the entire board. I can't help but feel like she finds that ring Jocelyn dropped on the floor. Or maybe she overhears a conversation that reveals the true identity of the mastermind. This discovery doesn't trap Carly in a corner. It actually weaponizes her in a way we haven't seen in years. I really believe Carly is about to turn from the hunted into the ultimate predator. There is a chance that this game-changing truth she finds gives her the ultimate leverage over her enemies. Maybe she realizes exactly who is funding the security team on the island. Or maybe I'm overthinking this, but what if she realizes the mastermind is someone she once trusted? Carly is never more dangerous than when her children are threatened. I keep coming back to the idea that she is going to burn that entire island to the ground. She won't just wait for Valentine or Sonny to save the day. She is going to take matters into her own hands and orchestrate a massive breakout. It seems that her fear has completely transformed into pure, unadulterated rage. What if Carly actually uses the island's own security system against them? She could lock the guards in their own traps and walk out with Jocelyn and Liesel. Shifting gears entirely, we need to look at the absolute emotional mess Willow is dealing with. She is facing this horrible smear campaign and all these vicious, swirling rumors. Initially, it seems that she firmly believes one specific person is out to ruin her life. We all assume she was pointing the finger directly at Tracy or maybe someone else. But what if the person pulling the strings isn't who she originally suspected at all? I can't help but feel like Willow is going to have a massive, heartbreaking realization. Maybe she finally pieces together that Brooke Lynn is actually the one framing her. This twist could completely shatter her trust in the people she thought were family. Something about this doesn't sit right with me, because Willow has always tried to see the good in people. To realize that someone close to her is actively trying to destroy her reputation is devastating. There's a chance that this betrayal fundamentally changes who Willow is as a person. And this brings me right to Chase, who has been caught in the middle of this storm. Guys, Chase has been blindly protecting Willow for so long, acting like her personal shield, but something is definitely shifting in his eyes lately. It seems that he has finally taken a step back and looking at the whole setup differently. There's a chance that his sharp detective instincts are finally overriding his protective, emotional nature. What if Chase realizes that the evidence against Willow is actually meticulously planted? I keep coming back to this idea that Chase is going to step out of the boyfriend role and back into the cop role. He is going to start analyzing the timeline of the accident and the sudden appearance of these rumors. This won't just save Willow from a terrible fate. It will completely change how Chase views his own inner circle. What if he has to be the one to slap the handcuffs on someone he cares about? Let us talk about Nina for a second, because she is suddenly stepping up in a huge way. Nina is the very first person to actually track down a real, tangible clue about Liesel. I can't help but feel like Nina's intuition is sharper than anyone else's right now. She knows in her gut that her aunt is missing, and she absolutely refuses to let it go. What if the clue she finds directly connects back to the dark secrets on the island? Something about this doesn't sit right with me regarding Cassius and his bizarre behavior. The moment Nina starts digging and asking the hard questions, the fake Nathan facade begins to crack. Nina is incredibly observant, and she knows the real Nathan better than almost anyone. There is a chance that she notices a tiny mannerism that completely gives Cassius away. I keep coming back to the idea that Nina is going to be the one to expose his sick masquerade. I keep coming back to Cassius and his desperate, sweaty attempt to play the role of Nathan. He is trying so hard to maintain this calm, collected exterior while the walls close in. But it seems that Nina's relentless questions are pulling him deeper and deeper into the mud. He is drowning in his own lies, and the panic is starting to show. There's a chance that Cassius is going to make a massive, fatal mistake under all this intense pressure. What if he slips up and uses a phrase or a tone that only Cassius would know? I can't help but feel like his entire cover is about to blow wide open in the most dramatic way possible. And when it does, the fallout is going to be absolutely nuclear for everyone involved. He is terrified of Jens, but he should be equally terrified of what Liesel will do to him. What if Cassius realizes he is trapped between two massive threats and decides to make a run for it? Then we have Valentine, who is currently making some incredibly reckless and dangerous choices. He decides to proactively reach out to the mysterious Z to try and regain control of the chaos. Maybe I'm overthinking this, but Valentine always thinks he is the absolute smartest guy in the room. He believes he can outmaneuver anyone, no matter how powerful they are. What if contacting Z is actually the biggest, most catastrophic mistake of his entire life? There's a chance that Z demands a price that Valentine simply cannot afford to pay. I keep coming back to the idea that Valentine is trading one nightmare for a much worse one. He might save the day and help rescue the hostages, but he could lose his soul in the process. Something about this doesn't sit right with me. Z is not someone who does favors out of the goodness of their heart. Valentine is walking right into a massive debt that will haunt him for years. Let us take a moment to really appreciate Trina, because her upcoming debut is giving me absolute chills. Everyone thought this highly anticipated event would just be overshadowed by her family's endless, exhausting drama. We all expected her to just fade into the background while the adults argued. But it seems that Trina is finally standing tall and saying enough is enough. I can't help but feel like she is going to use this public platform to fiercely stand up for herself. What if she delivers a performance or a statement that completely silences the entire room? There's a chance that Trina proves to everyone that she will not be dragged down by the chaos surrounding her. She is reclaiming her power, and it is incredibly beautiful and inspiring to watch. I keep coming back to this idea that this is Trina's true coming of age moment. She is separating herself from the toxic cycles and forging her own brilliant path forward. Now, we absolutely have to discuss this dangerous, quiet little dance between Ava and Ethan. Ethan honestly thought he had the upper hand by trying to blackmail Ava with his hidden secret. He thought he could just squeeze her for whatever he wanted, but he clearly forgot exactly who he is dealing with. I keep coming back to the idea that Ava's a master manipulator who thrives in the dark. It seems that she quickly realizes Ethan's leverage has a very strict expiration date. What if Ava completely flips the script and uses his own dark secrets against him? There's a chance that Ava takes complete and total control of this underground exchange. She is going to remind Ethan, in the most painful way possible, that you do not cross someone like Ava. Something about this doesn't sit right with me, though. Ethan is desperate. and desperate people do incredibly unpredictable things. What if Ethan decides to just burn it all down and expose everything to the public? Finally, let us talk about Britt and Rocco, who are still desperately out there on the run. They have been fleeing in pure panic, jumping at shadows and just trying to survive another day. But something about their chaotic escape route is about to change the entire narrative. I can't help but feel like they accidentally stumble upon a massive, undeniable piece of evidence. What if they find a hidden document or a secret location that completely exposes their ruthless pursuers? There's a chance that this accidental discovery turns their desperate flight into a massive, offensive turning point. They aren't just running away like frightened victims anymore. They are now carrying the one explosive secret that could destroy the very people hunting them. I keep coming back to this idea that Britt is going to use her brilliant medical mind to decode whatever they found. She is going to realize that they hold the ultimate key to taking down the entire operation. All of these incredibly complex moving pieces are setting up a massive, unavoidable collision in Port Charles. Jens is rapidly losing his tight grip on reality, Carly is armed with a dangerous truth, and Sunny is waiting patiently in the shadows. I keep coming back to this lingering feeling that the real ultimate villain hasn't even fully revealed their face yet. Maybe I'm overthinking this, but what if all these seemingly separate, chaotic crises are actually connected by one invisible thread? There's a chance that the person pulling all the strings is someone we have trusted from the very beginning. Someone who has been smiling in our faces while orchestrating this massive web of lies and deceit? What if the true mastermind is just sitting back, watching the town tear itself apart? Who do you guys think is really behind all this unprecedented danger?